Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Keto Mom page. My name is Stephanie. We're going to dive into morning mindset. We're going to work on our mind. So, as you're tuning in, where are you tuning in from? We're still going through this book, and I've got a couple notes that I want to share with you that I've learned this last weekend. So, if you're watching live, hey, if you're watching live, post a 1 below. If you're watching a replay, post a 2. I'm testing something. Now, clearly I just got done working out. It's always funny doing a live because then you're like looking at your own face and you're like, oh dear, it's great. No, good morning. It is Monday. I had a great weekend. My family, not just me, we had an incredible group of people in our home this weekend, and we were learning together. So we were learning about ourselves. We were learning about mindset. Crazy, huh? And I'll just give you the very brief overview, but there's so many things I want to share with you in little pieces. So there's one thing I'm going to share with you that I learned this weekend. We're going to talk a little bit about the book. And so where are you tuning in from? It's Minnesota. I'm in Minnesota. It's a beautiful morning. It's a little foggy. No snow yet. We'll see by the end of the month. But I loved this weekend. Is anybody on here familiar with Tony Robbins? I'm sure you've heard the name. Maybe you don't know what he teaches or what he does, but he does a lot of mindset. He really helps people, I feel like, basically get through their past to have a new outlook on life to go forward. So we got the opportunity to learn from Joseph McClendon III. So he works right along with Tony Robbins. And so he talks a lot about why you believe things and how so many people, their futures are being stolen by their past because they can't get out of their past. How do you change your negative mindset or your negative feelings or your negative emotions into a positive one? How do you take all of those past hurts and stop them where they're at and keep moving forward? So many great things, so many great takeaways I've learned from him for the last couple of years. It was a lot of fun to watch new people learn from them, and I really truly have some breakthrough. That's what we did this weekend. And so, what did you do this weekend? It was beautiful here in Minnesota. You wouldn't even know it was fall. It was like a spring day, 2 of them. So anyways, we're going to get started. So as you're tuning in, where are you tuning in from? If you're tuning live, type a 1. If you watch the replay, type 2. I'm doing a little test. And so a lot of this book is story driven, right? So if you're like, what in the world is she doing? We go through a book every single morning. I'm going to give you a thought or something to think about so that you can be like, oh, all right, let's just call it morning mindset. I believe that if you can get this right, it's going to help your overall health in any area of your life. The choices that you make, the decisions that you make, the way that you respond or react throughout your day. And so I just think it's important. And if you don't do anything but listen to me or somebody else that you follow, hopefully you're getting your mindset right. Hopefully you woke up this morning and you're like, yes, I get to do another Monday. Not I have to. Your words are powerful. So are you thankful this morning? What are you thankful for? I'm thankful that I got to work out this morning. I'm thankful for another Monday. I told my husband I don't feel like I had a weekend. I feel like we had a great weekend, but it wasn't like a normal weekend. So I'm diving right into this week because I get to, right? I'm thankful for my health. I'm thankful that you're on here watching me. Your presence matters. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for participating. It helps me as well. And so if you wake up with a thankful heart, you're going to have a better day. You're going to have a different outlook on your day. I get to go to work. I get to take my kids to school. I get to eat healthy. I get to drive past the drive-thru because I packed my lunch, right? All right, so basically he's telling a ton of stories. If you want to know where we're starting on page 72. He says beginning the journey of faith. He talks about faith. He's a pastor. And I'll give you the very brief overview of the next few pages. So if you're following along page by page, I went from 72 to 78. And so basically he tells a ton of stories, but the main point is he talks about how we have faith or lack thereof, or why people just don't do things because they don't have the faith or belief that they can do it. We talked a lot about that this weekend. So I loved what he says. He says, as he has lived his journey of faith and he's served within his community, because he's a pastor in LA, of faith, I have noticed that faith has two particular dimensions. He says, I describe them as a first dimension faith and a second dimension faith. First dimension faith involves when we step out into our area of trusting God outside of our experiences. So when we decide to do something that we don't know we can do, like we've never done it before, right? Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to eat healthier. I'm going to go to the gym. I have a gym membership, or I'm going to, for the first time, make a salad. That was me 6 years ago. Like when we step out and do something that we've never done before, first dimensional faith, right? He said, but the challenge set before us is clearly in the realm of possible. We know we can do it. He says, God is asking us to do something that he has done in the lives of others. We just haven't experienced it. Sometimes it's as practical as God calling us outside of our personal experience and our comfort zone to step into doing something that we've never done before. Maybe you're like, yeah, I know I need to do this. I know I can do it. I've never done it before. But in order for me to move forward, I must do this thing. Does this make sense? Is there anything in your life that you're like, okay, I want what's out here. I'm way back here. I know I can do it. I've just never done it before. It seems awkward. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. It's out of my comfort zone. But in order for me to get here, I have to do what's right here. And it takes some faith. It takes some action. He said, we've never done it before, we've never done it that way before. He says, oftentimes people just don't do the action because it's like, oh, we've never done that. I don't know how to do that. Seems awkward. It's uncomfortable. Basically, he's talking about the power of faith, but also getting out of your comfort zone. He says, the critical issue here is that when we become paralyzed in our first dimensional faith, when we look at the gap and we go, I've never done that. I don't know how to do that. I've never had a gym membership before. I don't know how to make that healthy food. I've never used a sugar replacement. I'm just spewing things that you might relate to, right? Oh, I've never gotten up that early before. You want me to read a book before I go to work? You want me to get my mindset right? I've never done that, right? He says the critical issue here is that when we become paralyzed in our first dimensional faith, we are often told that we just don't believe hard enough. We can't do that. It's not possible. It's too uncomfortable. He says, in most cases, first dimensional faith is about obedience, really. It's about building our lives and moving forward with confidence fueled by a commitment to the truth, to God's truth. Here's what I want you to know. In anything that we read, there's a ton of stories. Let me see if there's one more thing I underlined. If everything else remains uncertain, be clear on this point. There is a calling on your life. Oftentimes we get so stuck and paralyzed of like, I've never done that. I don't know. This gap is uncomfortable. I want to get here. I'm back here. And this, I need some faith. I need to take some action. I don't know if I can do it. But you know you can do it. You know that you can get up early. You know that you honestly could pick up a book and read 1 page a day. You know that you could drive past that drive-thru. You have every capability to make a better choice. You make choices all day long, every single day. And you know you can. It's uncomfortable. And the uncomfortableness is what you've got to go through. It's the obedience of getting through that will get you to here. Is this making sense? And so I'm going to end on page 78. It was all story-driven. I didn't realize how many. I wish I could read all the stories to you. You should just grab the book. The next book we're going to go through is going to be very much a more action. It'll be an easier read. This is a great read. I'm not saying that. It's just a different read. And so I wanted to share something with you from this weekend. Actually, I'm going to share a lot of things, but one today. All right. So I talk about when you learn something, you're learning, right? If you hop on my afternoon lives, you learn something. I give you a value add. I'm like, here's a net carb. Here's a total carb. Here is how you track your food. How much water should you drink? When you learn something, you need to apply it in anything. If you learn something at your work, If you learn something at school, from your kids, from your mentor, from a book, when you learn something, you have to apply it. When you apply it, you should pay it forward and teach somebody else, because that's how it gets in you. The fastest way to get something in you, to start doing it, to have it just become you, is to share it with other people. You're like, how do I do that? Maybe a coworker. Share what you've learned with somebody who's on the same journey as you, or a spouse or a kid. It's so interesting. He said, so we talked about this. He says, it's not what you know that gets you the results. I was like, yes, I need to share this. Everybody knows how to lose weight here. You know how to lose weight. He said, you stop putting so much food in this hole, right? And you move your body. Stop eating so much, move your body. He's like, everybody knows how to. They know that they should get up in the morning. We have this instinctive nature, like, I should get up. I shouldn't sleep in. I should take care of my body. Maybe I should go for a walk. I should probably drink some water instead of drinking that pop in the morning. This donut is not serving me. Yes, I know. Like, you know the things that you need to do. He says, knowledge isn't power. I've said this before. Knowledge is not power. It is a misused quote. People go, knowledge is power. Nope, not at all. Knowledge is not power. It's potential power. Knowledge is potential power. It can be used, but the kicker is, remember that gap that's uncomfortable, and that gap that you go, I don't know, I need a little bit of faith. Faith the size of a mustard seed. Like, I need something to get me to that gap, to where I want to be, right? He goes, you know how to live, you know how to lose weight, you know how to eat better. You've got to eat less food, you've got to move, but it's the action that flips the switch. Knowledge isn't power, it's the action. Take what you learn and put it into action. When you put it into action, share it with somebody. It makes it stick. So you learn, you apply. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Kelly. You learn, you apply, you pay it forward. You learn, you apply, you pay it forward. How do you fill in this gap from like where you are today to where you want to go? This is the gap of the uncomfortableness of the things that you need to do, is you apply. You take action. And when you do that, you'll make little baby steps forward, and you will get to where you want to go. Okay, I'm going to have you, I'm going to end with this. I need all of your participation, all right? It's very important. I'm going to teach you one thing that's going to change your entire day, the way that you feel. Because if you do this one thing, this one action, when you're feeling stressed, or when you're at work, or maybe you're not having the best day, I need you to just do this one thing. Are you ready? And I need you to do it with me. So I'm going to tell you. I want you to, you're not seeing yourself. So either gonna walk into the mirror if you can, go walk to the bathroom, look in the mirror, or just wherever you're sitting, wherever you're watching, I want you to do this. Smile. I want you to smile. Do it right now. I can't see your face. I'm going to believe that all of you are smiling. I'm going to tell you why in a second. Smile. Wherever you're tuning in from, if you're sitting in your bed, if you're sitting in your office, if you're sitting on the toilet, I don't care what you're doing. Smile. One thing I want you to know, and I learned this weekend, and I've learned this in the past. If you're smiling, put a smiley face below. If you smiled, when you smile, when you change, like in any situation, if you can just tell yourself, okay, you know what? It's not a big deal. Raise your eyebrows. Smile releases dopamine into your brain. Dopamine makes you happy. And when you have a different face, like what happens if you like decide to bark at your kid or your spouse, or you get angry at your office, and if you were like, it's hard to stay like this. It's hard to be angry when you're like this, right? It almost would make you laugh. And so if you want a way to flip the switch, if you want a way just to like change your environment, change the feelings that you're feeling in the moment, just, you'll have to be happy. You're going to it's going to change the way that you feel. Our brain and our body likes dopamine. You create it. You're going to change the way that you feel. You're going to take a breath, and you're going to choose to make the better decision. You're going to choose to have a better day. One action step, right? Smile. Get up. I look like a crazy person, right? But it works. It does. He made us all stand up, smiling at ourselves in the mirrors. If you do one thing when you feel frustrated or angry or like, put a smile on your face. It's going to make your whole body happy, and then move forward. All right? And then move forward. So that is my action step for you. And remember, knowledge isn't power. Knowledge is potential power. Knowledge plus action will get you the results that you want. Take what you learn, put it into play. So, all right. I hope you have a great morning. Happy Monday. Thank you for tuning in. Smile and have a wonderfully blessed day. We'll talk to you soon.